turn up my light. How about that? So that I have bright lights.
All right, so we should be live any second, or already if people are already watching.
Sometimes.
Right. All right. Hey, everybody in the Pivot group. I'm here today live with Leann Harris, who is the team leader of Keller Williams Portland Central in Portland, Oregon. She's also the general manager in a market center in Phoenix and a regional director for our real estate sales team. So Leann has lots and lots of hats. Leann, you just spent the day with Gary Keller. How are you?
I'm a little, I took a lot of notes. You get a little overwhelmed because you're kind of listening to the Oracle all day long. And he just drops knowledge. So you've got, 5 pages of notes in the first hour. And it's a lot of information. And you go back and like any Gary Keller session, I'll go back and read my notes a year later. And I love the notes still. Yeah.
Right. So I'm curious. You've been around this for a really long time. You've built companies. You built companies before being in real estate. So this isn't new for you. But what did you I'm curious what you wrote today and you went, yes, that I needed to hear just now.
A couple things. One of the things that he said towards the end that really sat with me, that I wondered if I have been doing personally lately, is that I've always kind of made this joke that I think we're playing a game. We're playing Candyland. We're playing Monopoly. We're playing a game, And at the end of the day, he said, are you playing chess? Are you checkmating constantly? And I was like, I don't know if I'm checkmating. And I've always been a checkmate girl, like check, check, check. Right. And all of a sudden I wondered, when was the last time I really did a checkmate?
Yeah. When did you do something that you said, yes, you don't have a play, your opponent doesn't have a play from here?
Mm-hmm. Because I think that I really subscribed quite a few years ago to putting my head down, looking at my own numbers and beating myself every day. And so if I had to ask that question, I would say, did I check myself? Was I doing a checkmate against myself? I just recently heard from a good friend of mine, turned me onto a podcast, and this guy was actually a chess player that had been being coached by Bobby Fischer in chess. And he turned out to be this massive hedge fund guy who was, that is on the trading. He's very sought after, brilliant man. So it was funny that came up again, because I think that people, when they play chess, and if you don't know how to play chess, I think that that's something that maybe you should take up and really start thinking about that. Are you playing against yourself? Are you playing against your opponent? Or are you just really looking at today's environment and saying, look, it just is what it is. It's good, not bad. It doesn't really matter. It's just an environment. What's your next move on the chess game? And I love that piece.
I'm curious, you lead directly hundreds of people, hundreds. You indirectly lead a whole bunch more. We're 6 weeks into this, week 7, maybe in some areas. What goes through your mind every day? What do you wake up thinking in a leadership role right now?
I am like every single person out there. I definitely have my days that I struggle. I'm sad sometimes. I'm ridiculously happy sometimes. It's almost that maniacal laugh at this point. And I think that you just have to remember that. And so the only thing that I can do is I can get up and look at my calendar, and I can look at the humans that I have to support during this time, and the humans that maybe didn't go through 2007 or another possibly hard time in the real estate industry. And I have to remember that what is that old phrase that says, there are 2 significant days in your life, the day you're born and the day you know what you are. And I know that my job in life is to help other humans. My job isn't necessarily to turn around a company. It's to make owners proud, or it's not to lead real estate agents. It's to help them fund their favorite life and their best life, and to help their families and things like that. So I know that.
That quote's one of my favorites. It's
my favorites too.
Yeah, it's the day that you were born and the day you realize why.
Yes. And I
Like the
think,
purpose, like your purpose. And by the way, I mean, you've taught me this too. Like that purpose can change sometimes. It might be a purpose for a little while and then be a whole different purpose. But I think we're all going to end up really old someday, and we're going to realize that all those mini purposes, they were all one great big purpose.
totally, totally. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people out there, they know I fostered a little girl when she was 13 or 14, and I was only 14 years older than her. You know, I think I was 28 or 9 when she really came into my world. And so I was just a young kid during the time, but that was when I really had that feeling like I know my job in this world is to serve and help other humans. And I have to do that every single day in this environment is remember what my purpose is in life, remember why I love doing what I do in every aspect, whether that's my companies, my nonprofit, whatever it is, and just keep going out and helping. The other thing that I heard today during Gary's event that really brought me back to just even the most basic job that we have, which is taking care of Keller Williams Portland Central, is that sometimes you have to help people one by one, and it feels too slow for people like you and I, Cody.
Right.
And that slowness actually will make us feel like we're losing in other arenas. But in reality, if we keep,
But that's a trick. Yeah, that's a trick.
right, and helping those one by ones actually will start to make your pool bigger of the momentum that you're going to get.
You know, that reminds me of thinking, how do I help them all? Or I can't help them all. But someone goes, I know, but I can help one.
Mm-hmm.
I can help that one. So if I can't help them all, I can help that one. That one I can help. So let's go help that one.
Yeah.
And you're always a really good example of that. So what people don't know about you sometimes, and I've had the chance to work with you really close for a really long time. It's been one of the greatest joys of my professional life. I guess I'll just say it, like we didn't get ready for this. So it's late on Friday. I've been live all week. Leann, you're not always super up and super excited. You're not always the Leann that everybody sees. So yes, everybody, Leann has tough days too. So Leann, when you're having a tough day, how do you fix it? How do you right the ship?
Well, what? I just start texting you late at night. I'm like, why don't you
I'm making dinner? What are you doing? Yeah. Send more margaritas. Yeah. So what do you do? Like when it's hard, like what do you do?
You know, I really do I think I give myself a lot of leeway to just get back on track if I need to. So like last night, I turned on Entourage and binge watched for 2 hours and I ate popcorn for dinner. And I'm not going to cook a healthy dinner. I'm going to eat carbs and I'm going to watch crappy HBO shows. And then I'm going to wake up the next morning and I'm going to go meet with Gary Keller. And I think that it's okay to forgive and get into a place where, look, if you need 2 hours to recover from a really hard day of people that, I helped 5 people yesterday that were crying during the calls. You have to give yourself leeway. So what I do is I actually will take a vacation from whatever it is that's happening during the day. I take my vacation, whether that's, popcorn, junk food, a little cocktail hour, when we're not in COVID or crappy TV or whatever. And then I just get back on it the next day and follow my calendar.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. So what I'm hearing that I want everybody else to hear is as much grace as you have for everybody else right now, remember to have that grace for yourself too.
For sure.
Remember to take that minute for yourself. All the help that you're handing out, and so many of you are just reaching across and helping people. Remember to reach toward yourself and help yourself too. Like you matter also.
Yeah, for sure.
Like your needs are important.
Kids last night. What'd you make?
Right. So Gary mentioned yesterday on the webinar I was on with him, and I wasn't on the one that you were on today. He said yesterday he was tired. He said, like, mentally, this is tiring. He said, physically, I'm good. Like, I'm keeping up with all the things I need to physically, but he's like, mentally, like, I'm exhausted. Can you, and I know we have a hard stop in just a minute or two here, and you got to get out of here, but what do you do with the exhaustion right now? And are you tired right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm really tired. What do I do with it? I don't know. I think that I just know that this too shall pass. I really remember that in everything that I do. For a lot of the people out there, I think I'm pretty open about my nonprofit is for mental health. And so I have studied the mental health. I lost my brother to suicide. I know that a lot of people know that part about me. This is a very big mental challenge. And for people that may have even had like a little bit of depression, this is smacking them in a whole new place that they've never even felt, or they've gone into kind of darker places. And so I really have to ask people, and I ask myself the same question every single day, is tell me about a time when this felt the same in your body. Could be anything. Could have been a test in high school, or maybe it was that one time when you were learning how to ride a two-wheeler with no training wheels on it. Tell me about a time when you felt so scared and so frustrated and so exasperated that you weren't sure you were going to get through it. Tell me about that time. And I say, this is like that time. In your body, this is like that time, because our body really doesn't understand whether this is a pandemic or this is, I'm really scared because I'm going to learn how to ride a two-wheeler with no training wheels. I just have to remember this too shall come to pass. And when that happens, how am I going to be prepared for that time? And so that's where I go.
You know, there's two things, and I'll wrap it up with this, and then Leann, if you've got a thought at the end too. Two things. So I hear this too shall pass. I did see a meme the other day that said, COVID, blah, 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 this too shall pass. And someone else said, it might pass like a kidney stone. let's keep
it's true.
Yes, it might really hurt, but this too shall pass. But everybody listen, you just stop, hear my words at this. You think about the tough times in your life, man, if you're like me or you're like Leann, you've had your tough days, you've had tough times. Just remember, here's your perspective. You have a 100% survival rate so far. Everything that's happened, everything you've been up against, every time you've been like, I don't know if I can do it. This might be too much. This could break me. When that's happened to you, because I'm sure it has, you have a 100% survival rate. So remember, bet on yourself, because you've won every single time. You've come back every single time. So Leann, any last minute thoughts? And then I know you got to get out of here.
No, I love it. Bet on yourself. Definitely bet on yourself. You're going to get through this.
All right. There's no one that we'd rather be with right now than where we are. Leann, I appreciate you so deeply and so much. So everybody, if you wanted to get a copy of Leann's notes, or if you had a question about something she said, or if you'd love to know more about the nonprofit that she started for mental health or mental health awareness, Leann, where's the best place to communicate?
Just contact me at Leann Harris at kw.com. And I know that Lacey set up our call today with my correct spelling of my name. So Leann Harris at kw.com is a great place to get a hold of me.
Awesome. All right, Leann, thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you for your leadership during this time. You are making lives move forward. So thank you.
Love ya.
Love you too.
Bye.